Does Chicago Bears wide receiver Darnell Mooney deserve a contract extension? Let's talk about it. What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Style back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, hit the big red subscribe button down below. Season-long Bears coverage on the channel. You don't want to miss out. All right, so let's talk about this, people. All right, Darnell Mooney, okay? His contract's going to be up soon. We need to have this conversation about whether or not we want to keep Darnell Mooney around for a long time. And I got to tell you, before this season started, it would have been like absolute lock. He's a stud. Darnell Mooney is the future of the Bears at the wide receiver spot. Like, there's hands down, we got to bring this kid back. But of course, he had a down year, right? Less than 500 yards receiving, and then got hurt. And so now it's like, okay, do you want to bring him back? Do you think he's worthy of a contract extension? And those conversations seem a little bit more difficult to have now. But I got to tell you, Darnell Mooney this season, yeah, it wasn't great, and he did end up getting hurt. I'm going to just put that aside for now, but as far as his performance on the field, he was still solid, all right? There's definitely plays you can point out with, I wish Mooney was better. Obviously, the touchdown or almost to-be touchdown against the Commanders that cost us the game, seems like that one stings. But there's moments you can pick out with everybody. Ultimately, Justin Fields struggled early on. The passing game struggled early on. But once they developed the passing game and once Justin Fields came on, you saw Mooney kind of go along with him. Now, the numbers weren't prolific by any means, but we're talking about a guy who's still only 25 years old, and we are talking about a guy who has that wavelength and chemistry with Justin Fields. There's no doubt about the fact that he's got chemistry with Fields, and that's important. You want to make your young quarterback as comfortable as possible. Right? Yeah, would you love to have star wide receivers around him that you can get in free agency and maybe even through the draft? Sure. But it takes time to build that chemistry. They already have that in Mooney and Fields. They're on the same wavelength. And so to me, that's pro and point number one for why you want to bring back Darnell Mooney. Point number two, take a look at what's out there. And it's not pretty. The wide receiver free agent market, if you don't bring back Darnell Mooney, is horrid. It's not even decent. It's horrid, folks. Let me name some of the wide receivers out there, and this is the cream of the crop. Guys like Marvin Jones, Nelson Aguilar, a bunch of Jacoby Myers, Juju Smith-Schuster. It's like, no thank you. None of these guys move the needle. And if we're talking about drafting a receiver, which is still a need for us, do you want to spend a second-round pick on that? A second overall pick on that? Probably not. You want to get it later on with the picks that hopefully you trade down for. But even still, expecting a rookie to come in and be a star receiver right away, big expectations. But point I'm trying to make here is free agent market is terrible. Darnell Mooney's better than all those guys. I'm sorry, he just is. And so that's point number two for you, why you probably want to bring him back. And point number three, the fact that he's still only 25 years old, I think Darnell Mooney's best days are still ahead of him. As we see Justin Fields hit his prime, and he's not even close, we know that, but once he does hit his prime and hits his stride, Mooney's coming along with him. Mooney's going to be putting up 1,000-yard seasons for years to come, and we've got him, we've got Claypool, and it's a wide receiver position that still needs more help, but at least the guys that you have, you want to keep them around. My goodness, we've been complaining about Fields not having weapons all year, and if we want to not bring back Mooney, it's like, what do you have at that point? So I'm bringing back Darnell Mooney. I'm extending him. Again, hopefully it's a reasonable number, not trying to break the bank. We're not talking about a Davante Adams or a Tyreek Hill here, but we are talking about a very, very solid wide receiver. And I will tell you also this. Bringing back Darnell Mooney does not mean the Bears shouldn't try to get another receiver, because they absolutely should. Mooney and Claypool absolutely are one of our top receivers, but we got to bring in another guy. Receiver's still a need on this team. Absolutely. And so, I saw this on Twitter the other day, and somebody brought this up. Yeah, there's no free agent wide receivers out there, but you can certainly make another trade for one, right? We traded for Chase Claypool. I know that hasn't worked out thus far and looked great, but give it more time. But hey, Davante Adams wasn't available last year, but he was traded. Tyreek Hill wasn't available last year, but he was traded. So you can go out and acquire a superstar wide receiver if you give up what needs to be given up. So Ryan Poles, he can make it happen if he wants to make it happen, and it's important. We surround Justin Fields with more weapons. So ultimately, though, I don't think that should impact this decision. I think Mooney's worthy of bringing back, and I would like to bring him back on a contract extension to keep him in Chicago for a couple more seasons. Again, 25 years old, still young. So even if we extend him and the end of the contract, we'll be still getting his best years. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below as always.